Uttar Pradesh government. Uttar Pradesh have become the first state to declare man-animal conflict as a disaster, as a state disaster. UP has become the first state in the country to declare death through man-animal conflict as a disaster, state disaster. If a person dies in an attack by tiger, leopard, Indian wolf, hyena, 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 crocodile, elephant, rhinoceros, and lion, wild boar, etc., it will be called as a state disaster. Uttar Pradesh is the first state. Of late, man-animal conflict have become a serious issue in India. Animals are entering into human zones, or humans are intruding into animal zones. Elephants coming up in railway tracks, tigers eating away man. Any death of man caused by wild boar, hyena, lion, tiger, leopard, etc. Now it's called a state disaster. A state disaster, and Uttar Pradesh is the first state to declare this man-animal conflict as a state disaster. The deceased family will be given a compensation of rupees 5 lakhs by State Disaster Management Authority. The deceased family, the victim's family, the man who died, his family will get 5 lakh rupees for this. This is really important. The next important article, today's editorial in Hindu. If you see today's editorial, avoidable tragedy. Avoidable tragedy. Amritsar, 59 people were mowed down by the train. Mowed down means killed by, particularly group killing. Mowed, M-O-W, mow down means group killing. M-O-W, mow means group killing. 59 people were killed when they are doing Ravana Dahana Karyakram. They got killed, 59 people. It's an avoidable tragedy, and state have not taken proper precautions. This was a complaint. At least railway authority should have had some proper barricades to stop this crusade and to establish proper safety, but nothing was made. And you all know, in festivals in India, we have many festivals, but there is no common space to celebrate the festivals. We are observing stampedes, fights, and other disasters. You all know, during Godavari Pushkaras, people died because of stampede. Tokkisalata. People died because of stampede. It's really a disaster. So there are two types of disasters, natural and man-made. Tsunami, earthquake, floods, droughts, we cannot stop. Whereas man-made disasters like stampedes, nuclear accidents, fire accidents, like such type of rail accidents, they are avoidable. We have to take care of that, and we should have proper disaster management plan. We have proper disaster prevention plan for man-made disasters. Okay, this is very important news. Next article, lip service to labor rights. After a long time, we get an article with respect to labor rights. Lip service to labor rights. In fact, after a long time, very long time. What is that? See, in Gujarat last month, there was an allegation that 14-month-old baby got raped by a migrant worker. 14-month-old baby got raped by a migrant worker. Then attacks started on migrant workers. Within 1 month, 60,000 to 1 lakh migrant workers went away from Gujarat. From Maharashtra, from Madhya Pradesh, from Bihar, from Assam, from Rajasthan, even from the states like Andhra Pradesh, people will go to Gujarat and do unskilled, semi-skilled manual work like factories, brick kiln industries, some semi-skilled people in diamond cutting industry, in various industries in Gujarat, and around 1 crore migrant workers present in Gujarat informally. Unregulated working hours, low cost, their pay was very low, unregulated working hours, excessive working hours, without no housing, no insurance. Most of them live in makeshift houses or in the working sites itself, in the working sites, and their wages are low, and most of the times they were expected to work far away places, remote places. And the other problem is the local workers in Gujarat say that they feel that their jobs are being lost because of migrant workers. Their jobs are being lost because of migrant workers. There is no proper law to protect migrant workers in India. We don't have proper insurance for them. And recently we have Atal Pension Yojana. We have Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Yojana. They were launched for unorganized sector, but still it was a distant dream. It was a distant dream for them. And we have Interstate Migrant Workmen Act. We have Interstate Migrant Workmen Act, but that was also not completely favorable, and that was only on paper. That was only on paper. What we need is strong government law to protect migrant workers. Interstate migration is very common in India. Interstate migration is very common in India. We have to have a strong migrant law, and we should protect the migrant workers also. This is lip service to labor rights. This is the article, lip service to labor rights. And next article, the long rule of Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia have come to an end, and we can see there might be a chance Mr. Anwar Ibrahim, an young man, can have a future government in future in Malaysia. Anwar Ibrahim, you don't remember more than this, need not remember more than this. Next important article, time to hew, HEW, a new antiquities law. Time to hew, a new antiquities law. Just listen. Antiquities means any object, sculpture or any coin of 100 years old according to Antiquities and Art Treasures Act 1972. There is an act in India called Antiquities and Art Treasures Act 1972. When I am reading this article, I too remember an incident where in 2014, in the initial year of his Prime Ministership, our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi visited Canada. At that time, Canadian Prime Minister gifted him a antique piece from India, Khajuraho sculpture, parrot lady sculpture, a lady holding a parrot here. So, parrot sculpture, parrot lady sculpture, and it was a stolen object from India. It was a stolen object from India. Just read that parrot lady Khajuraho. So, there is an act called Antiquities and Art Treasures Act 1972, which prohibits smuggling or fraudulent trade or fraudulent possession of antiques. Antiques means any sculpture, any object 100 years old. As a private person, if you want to hold any antique piece, you have to take a registration, you have to apply and get a registration from Antiques Act, from Archaeological Survey of India. Under Ministry of Culture, we have a department called Archaeological Survey of India, but illegally many possess this. The reason is they do not want to do always illegal, but they do not want to get this harassment. Why should I apply? Then they will ask, where from you have robbed this? Because if somebody possesses something, it is considered as robbery, or something from temple robbery or some antique robbery. So people fear about this. For that reason, most of the antique pieces are in India are not found in public places and in the private possessions. If you make antiquities law liberal, people will get proper registration, they will show their pieces out, and you can have better civilizational connect. You can understand the history better, you can have your collections better. But why do you do that? This was the other question. Why do you make registration process very tough? And why do you take long time for registration? And why do you deal with the man who possesses any antique piece in a negative way? Why don't you understand his own point of view? So, any antiques, books, statues, coins, sculptures, all these things comes under antiques. And for documents, manuscripts, antiquity means 75 years. For other sculptures, coins, antiquity means 100 years. Antiquity means 100 years. And the Antiquities and Art Treasures Act 1972 regulates export trade, regulates fraudulent dealings, regulates smuggling. It won't allow smuggling, all these things. But the thing is, we should take a very good act, make a very good act for antiquities, so that we can have better civilizational connect. This was the gist of the article. This was the gist. Very important, because very rarely labor issues, antiquity issues come in the newspaper. Regularly we will see Indian democracy, or regularly we see Aadhaar, regularly we will see something like cricket news, but very rarely we see such articles. These two articles are very core. And Sabarmala, regular article. And there is one more thing, INF, Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces. INF, Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces. Donald Trump have come out of Paris deal. Donald Trump have come out of Iran nuclear deal. Now Donald Trump have come out of INF, Intermediate Range Nuclear Force. INF was made between America and Russia in 1987 during Cold War time, and INF automatically will come to an end in 2021. But before that, in 2018 itself, Trump have come out saying that, alleging that many times Russia flouted with the rules of INF. Intermediate nuclear forces means the weapons which can have the range of 500 kilometers to 5000 kilometers. The weapons which have a range of 500 kilometers to 5000 kilometers. That was called INF, Intermediate Nuclear Forces. America have come out, pulled out of it, because Trump alleged that Russia is flouting with the INF rules. Russia is flouting with the INF rules. Intermediate Nuclear Forces. Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces. And the most important news from last 1 month, which is coming in everyday newspaper, is India's drone policy. India's drone policy. Now drones have become almost like our mobile phones. We have a new concept in agriculture called precision agriculture. We have a new concept in agriculture called precision agriculture, where you can use drones for agricultural production. Now Director General of Civil Aviation have recently given India's drone policy. Remotely piloted aircrafts. Drones means remotely piloted aircrafts. And this policy is coming to effect from December 1st, 2018. December 1st, 2018. The new policy defines what is a remotely piloted aircraft, how they can be flown, and what are the restrictions. And new policy speaks about various issues. First of all, they have defined drone as unmanned aircraft piloted from a remote pilot station. Unmanned aircraft piloted from a remote pilot station. And they have classified drones into 5 types: nano, micro, small, medium, large. Nano, micro, small, medium, large. The weight of drone 250 grams to 150 kgs. 250 grams to 150 kgs. Nano means 250 grams, micro means 250 grams to 2 kgs, small means 2 kgs to 25 kgs, medium means 25 kgs to 150 kgs, large means greater than 150 kgs. Large means greater than 150 kgs. All drones except nano, 250 grams should be taken the clearance from DGCA, Director General of Civil Aviation. All drones other than in nano category shall apply DGCA for import clearance. See, you should not use drones without license. But in a closed room or in a closed phase, when you use a nano drone, for example, here in our place, if you have a 250 grams nano drone to help each other or to do aerial surveillance, who is studying, who is writing notes or not, or who is watching cell phone or not, then what they will do? For that we need not require license. Drone will be making surveillance revolving around this closed area. For that we do not require any license. Beyond that we have to take permission from DGCA. When your drone flies less than 200 meters and when you carry a drone of 250 grams, you need not, and when you are using it in a closed circuit, in a closed place, you need not take a license. But real estate people, environmental tourism, photography, entertainment, education, for all of them we need small drones, 250 grams. Beyond that we need to take license from Director General of Civil Aviation. So, new drone policy, India's drone policy released by DGCA, you have to completely read it. It is available in the PIB also, Press Information Bureau website also, this was available. And you will get this right only when you are 18 years age, above 18 years age. Children will not get. And the most fantastic thing is, you should not use these drones in the night time, only in the daytime. And second thing, it should be only in the visual light, visual line of sight. What do you mean by visual line of sight? See, when I am operating my drone, it should be my visual line. I cannot operate it beyond this. After few years, again they can make one more policy. They can exempt this visual line of sight. But now, every drone you are operating should be in the visual line of sight. You can use drones for commercial purpose also, but with conditions. You can use drones with commercial purpose also, but with conditions. You cannot use drones for transportation. Earlier people thought and were very anxious that we can transport goods through drones. We can transport goods through drones. That cannot happen immediately. So, it's really fantastic. You should read the entire drone policy. We will discuss it again. National Drone Policy, Indian Drone Policy released by Director General of Civil Aviation. Okay, done? So these are the important current affairs. We will meet tomorrow.